Hi everyone, Jessica here from Australian Rotary Health. We're here today with Campbell Walker as part of our Australian Rotary Health and QBD Books partnership to lift the lid on mental illness in schools. Cam is an illustrator, animator, and content creator, better known as Struthless. Cam has built a combined following of over 900,000 people and has collaborated with the likes of Comedy Central, Spotify, Vice, Pedestrian TV, GQ, The Batuta Advocate, Tinder, The Dallas Mavericks, Brown Cardigan, The Big Les Show, Gatorade, and Universal Music. He has a line of apparel and a podcast with Triple J's Rice Mills. Before drawing, Cam worked as an advertising creative director, a tattooist, and for one very strange week, a golf cart taxi driver at an Arizonan country music festival, and now as an author. So Cam, you described your book, Your Head is a Houseboat, as a chaotic guide to mental clarity. Can you tell us about how you managed to pull all the chaos together into a usable format?
Well, firstly, thank you for calling it usable. So yeah, that's very lovely. How I pulled all the chaos together, I think it was sort of a combination of research that I was doing for myself, for my own head, which I think is a very useful thing for anybody to do, and I'd encourage anybody to do that. And I found as I was learning about psychology and how my own brain works and brain function, it was so much easier for me to remember it in metaphor. And I think that I've just got a natural tendency to turn things kind of whimsical and absurd. So often the metaphors that I would be drawing for me to understand things that, for example, my therapist was telling me would be to say, oh, this would be like if there was a gigantic octopus in my head that had 8 sock puppets on it. And I was like, huh. And so I'd write that in my notebook and I'd be like, yeah, that's a cool way to understand. And then I realized that I had all these collections of metaphors and that they all kind of could work together if I made them work together. And then, yeah, the format of the book seemed like the perfect place to do it.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Really interesting way of, putting it all together. I know as well, Osher Gunsberg described your book as the most important and accessible mental health book in a generation and truly life-changing. I guess if you had a manual like this earlier on in life, what would you have told your younger self?
Oh, that's a brilliant question. I think there'd be sort of specific things. I mean, like the blunt answer is the lottery numbers. But in terms of mental health, I think I'd want to say that the concept of compound interest occurs everywhere in life. And I think people often talk about it in terms of finances, like, invest $100 here when you're 20, and then when you're 80, you'll have, I don't know, a small village somewhere. But I think for me, understanding it in terms of mental health, relationships, and your work as well has helped me a lot. And I wish I knew that younger, because I probably would have put more effort in when I was younger if I knew that it would have greater results. But I mean, experience is what you get right after you need it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be a pretty big one.
And it is a complex topic, but is there one sort of metaphor or piece of advice that stuck with you from the moment you heard it, a tip that you might still use today?
Oh, so many. That's a really, really good question. So I want to do it justice of an answer. Yes, I think there are a few. There's some which I definitely relate straight to creativity, which I know that I've talked about a lot. But in terms of straight mental health ones, I would say, sorry for the pause, I really do want to answer this.
That's all right.
The idea of wants and needs not being a single want or a single need, but multiple wants and needs that have to compromise. And in the book, I talked about it as if you have 5 different bosses, all these kind of bureaucrats who are barking orders at you while you're trying to steer a houseboat down a crazy river. And they've all got different ideas on who you should be and what you should head for and what you should want. And the idea that you could have multiple wants and needs in your head, when I first came across that, for some reason, previously, I thought that you would just have a want or a desire, but to split it up and realize that there would be compromise amongst the things that you want and the directions that you head, for whatever reason, that blew my mind. And yeah, it became a whole chapter in the book, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah. Well, it definitely sounds like an interesting book, and I thank you very much for answering our questions today, Cam. It's been great to chat with you. So if anyone's interested in supporting the Lift the Lid in Schools campaign this October, they can head to QBD Books in store or online and buy your book, Your Head is a Houseboat, when $2 from every purchase will be donated to fund children's mental health research.
Awesome.